Hi, I'm Jessica, and if things go well, I'm going to be an egg donor. I just had my first appointment besides the initial consultation with the doctor, where he just told me the things I had learned through research, like what the process is and what it means. So, after that initial consultation, I had to let them know that I was still interested. And then the next thing was to come back to their office on the third day of my period, which is today. And what they did is they did a transvaginal ultrasound where they put a probe up inside to check on the uterus and the ovaries and to see how many follicles I have in my ovaries. I learned that what they want is for each ovary to have at least 5 follicles, and I have more than that, so I'm got the go ahead on that front. And then they sent me to a different office for some blood work and a drug test. So I went to a different office and they just took a vial of my blood and I peed in a cup. And assuming that I pass both of those things, which hopefully I should, though I don't know about the blood work portion, if I pass both of those, the doctor told me the next thing is that on the 21st day of my cycle, I'll begin the Lupron injections, which is part of the hormone process where I'll be self-injecting for a couple weeks. I think this might be a little bit different than what other people have done before. I had read that I needed to start on an oral contraceptive for a couple weeks to match with the intended parent, but he hasn't mentioned that. They just said going straight to the Lupron injections. Maybe we're matched already, who knows. Though I do know that for my office here in my local area, this is their first time starting this program, and I'm going to be their first ever egg donor. I know this because my donor ID is 001, so this is new for them, which is kind of exciting, a little nerve-wracking, but it's fun to know that I will be the first person that they remember. So I'm just gonna keep checking. I'm gonna try to keep maybe a little journal of how I'm feeling and what the process has been like for me. I saw several of these online as I was doing research about what it's like, and so I just want to put mine out there. So thanks, I will check in with you guys next time. Well, I just went to the clinic to pick up my Lupron, which is the first series in the injection. Yesterday I had to go to the blood drawing center and get a pregnancy test done, I guess to make sure that I'm not pregnant, and that would have been a huge surprise if I was. So I'm guessing that came back negative because I went to the clinic and they gave me my 2-week dosage of Lupron. It's something that I have to inject every day. I inject it into my stomach. I've never done that before, and so at the clinic when they gave me the Lupron, the nurse was like, I'm gonna let you do this. So she showed me how to load the little needle, and then she took my hand and guided it into injecting my stomach. So there was no time for hesitation, no time for fear. I'm really glad she did that because I probably would have hesitated. It didn't really hurt that much. It was kind of like a little sting. The injecting itself I didn't feel. Now it's a little itchy, I guess, around the injection site. But I am to do this every day for 2 weeks, and then I go back to the clinic for a scan where they're going to just see how my hormone levels are and what my body is reacting to as far as the Lupron goes. And then after that, I will start the stem injections. I'm not really sure what they do specifically, but that's the part that stimulates your ovaries into producing more eggs. So we'll see. I'm gonna check in with how I'm feeling every couple days, how I'm doing this, to see if it's affecting my mood or my weight or anything like that. Hey, so I have been on Lupron now for about 2 weeks. That's the first injection. I was supposed to be on it for a total of 2 weeks, but then the clinic was notified by the intended parent that she had to be out of town for a week, and so she and I needed to stay on the Lupron for an additional week. That's something I didn't know, was that she's also injecting herself with Lupron. I'm not really sure what her next step will be. So I'm going back to the clinic next week for a scan, and if I'm where they want me to be, that's when they will, I guess, add the next hormone or stop the Lupron and add the next hormone. I'm not really sure what the process is, but the next one, they've called it a stem hormone. I'm not sure what it means, but it's supposed to be the one that stimulates the ovaries into producing the eggs. So I'm not sure what the mother is supposed to do once I start this new hormone. I doubt I'll find out because it's completely anonymous, but yeah, so I've been injecting it for 2 weeks now. It was really easy to get used to. Like I said last time, it doesn't really hurt. It's kind of like a tiny prick. Really, it's barely noticeable. I don't feel the medicine going in, and afterwards it's a little itchy and like red where I injected it, but I think that's normal when you put something into your skin, so it's not a big deal. For the past 2 weeks, I haven't noticed any kind of side effects, so some of the possible ones were like weight gain or mood swings or nausea. I haven't experienced any of that. I really haven't felt any different at all, so that's been a bonus. I just inject myself in my office really fast. No one notices, so it hasn't caused like a lifestyle change. It's been really easy to adapt. I have had some headaches, but I'm not sure if that's from the Lupron because I tend to be headache prone anyway. So yeah, I will check back in after I do the scan next week. Hi, so I went in for my scan like about 2 days ago, and it's where they did another transvaginal ultrasound where they had to go in and look at my ovaries and count the follicles, which they've changed a little, but I guess that's normal, and they're still above the 5 that they need to be. So the intended parent is still out of town, so we're going to be on another round of Lupron for another week. It's not a big deal. I mean, it won't affect anything. The doctor told me that, it's okay to keep doing this. Though I will say the Lupron is giving me major hot flashes, and I have almost a daily headache. I'm pretty sure that's from the Lupron. It's one of the side effects, but yeah, so I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just one of those little things that I've noticed. So I guess we'll keep doing it for another week, and then once she comes back into town, we'll start the next round of hormones. And the doctor told me that once we start the next round, it'll be 10 days until the retrieval. So it looks like the end is in sight, hopefully, assuming she comes back into town sometime soon. So I will talk to you once we switch. Hi, so let's see. I have officially been switched over to the follistim, which is what's causing the eggs to actually grow. So it's making the different follicles in my ovaries all produce an egg or two, who knows. So right now what my doctor's having me do is I'm continuing with Lupron, just at a lower dosage every day, and then I'm also taking the follistim injection. I have to use this fancy pen. As you can see, it says follistim pen. And what I do is there is a cartridge in here of the injection. You can kind of, well, it's underneath there. But I just ratchet this little nozzle up to how much I'm supposed to take. So I started out with 300 IUs and now I'm doing 150. And so this automatically measures the medicine, and then I push this button at the end and it slowly injects it, kind of like the syringes do. So that one stings a little bit more, actually, like going into my stomach. It's actually making me bleed when I pull it out, which the Lupron doesn't. I don't know if the needle is just a bigger needle. It's possible. But so I'm going to be doing that again until Monday. I go back for a checkup. I've been on it since Sunday. So that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 5 days now, and I went in for a blood scan and a checkup. Everything seems to be doing fine. He's just going to have me keep doing that until next Monday when I go back for a blood scan and an ultrasound again. And then right now my retrieval is tentatively set for November 2nd through the 4th. Today is the 27th, so that's in another, 7 or so days, basically maybe less than a week. So the end is in sight, finally. Right now while I'm on follistim, my doctor did not tell me this, but I looked it up. Well, I asked him and he confirmed, but I looked up and it said the internet of the lovely ladies that take this before me have said that I shouldn't move around too much. My doctor confirmed this because he said my ovaries right now are like little water balloons and they could pop or twist and cause permanent damage, so I shouldn't be doing too much physical twisting activity. Though honestly I haven't felt any different. I don't feel swollen. I've only been on it for 5 days, but we'll see. I also have been drinking a ton of Gatorade. I don't know if this makes a difference, but I saw someone online said that drinking a lot of electrolytes will help keep the water swelling down. And I've also been eating slightly more salty food than I would normally, just to maybe help. Even if it doesn't, it's probably not hurting. So yeah, I will update you when I have more information about the retrieval. So the end is finally in sight. For the past 3 days, I have gone to get lab work drawn and gone to the clinic to get an ultrasound. This time they were checking the size of my follicles and actually measuring them to see about how many were going to be mature. And so today was the last day, and he gave me my syringe of the trigger shot, which I have to take at 9 p.m. tonight. This is huge. It has to go all the way into my hip. And once I take this, it's just a matter of waiting until it's time to retrieve the eggs. So I take this tonight, and then I don't have to do anything again on Thursday. And then on Friday, which is 2 days from now, I actually go to the hospital for my retrieval. So I've had a call from the hospital to tell me what to do and not to do between now and then. I can't take any more aspirin from now until the retrieval, which is about 35 hours from now. I can't, the day before the retrieval, I can't shower and put any smelly things on, like lotion or deodorant or anything like that. So I just have to be as clean and natural as possible. And yeah, so the end is in sight. I am nervous, but super excited for this to be finished. A couple days ago, made 6 weeks that I've been injecting myself in the stomach, so I am ready for it to be over. Thankfully, the stomach injections are over. It's just getting this giant shot into my butt and then having the retrieval. So I'm going to do another little video post after the retrieval and then maybe a couple days after to see how I'm feeling. So far at the end of the growing the eggs section, I don't feel them. I haven't really noticed any difference. I try to be careful when I move just to make sure that nothing happens to my ovaries, but hasn't really caused any kind of disruption in my life. So we'll see what happens after the retrieval. Hey, so I just got home after the egg retrieval. It went well, I guess. They were able to get 10 eggs, which isn't, as much as I would hope, but hopefully they're 10 good eggs, so I'll take what I can get. It was really interesting. I've never been put under anesthesia before or had any kind of surgery, so I didn't know what to expect. Hand IVs suck. They sprayed it with some kind of numbing spray for me, so it didn't feel as bad, but it still did not feel very good. But I got this really cool bandage thing. There's cars on it. So what happened is we got to the hospital this morning at 6:30, and I checked in over at the front desk area, and then they gave me my hospital wristband and my receipt and information. Here's my wristband. And so then I went over to the surgery area and checked in. And so they called me back first and took me into the pre-op room where I changed into my hospital gown and answered some questions and pretty basic stuff. And then they put the IV in my hand, which sucked and was stupid. It's not that bad. I just think it was stupid. And then they took have you ever seen those Q-tip looking things that have the brown iodine or something on it they sometimes use to clean your arm before you donate blood? They put those up my nose to prevent any infections, and that was weird, and I had a hard time breathing after that because it made me stuffy. But then when I tried to inhale, that scent was awful, but it finally got better. I wasn't allowed to blow my nose or anything. And so then they just had an IV going in my hand of fluid, I guess, for a little while. My husband was able to come back and sit with me, and we watched some TV for a while. And then the anesthesiologist came in and just asked if I had any problems with anesthesia, and told me that I was going to be under a deep sedation, but not quite general anesthesia. So I was okay, I don't know what that means. And then the embryologist came in and asked if I had any questions for her before we got started, and I don't. And then my doctor came in and asked if I had any questions, had me sign a few more consent forms that I've done over and over. Shook my hand, and he said, okay, I'll see you back there. And so I was really nervous, and so the nurses asked if I wanted they called it similar to Xanax to go into my IV beforehand. And I opted to do it just because where I've never been put under, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to wake up in the middle of it. I really doubted that would happen. It's such a quick procedure, but my mom, when she had her breast implants done, she woke up in the middle of it, and I know that's a much longer surgery, but I was terrified, so I thought, I'm just going to take the extra medicine. And so they put that in my hand IV, and pretty quickly that made me kind of dizzy and a little bit drowsy. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but mostly I was just dizzy. And so then they wheeled my bed back to the surgery area, and my doctor was in there, and I said hey to him, and then I don't really remember. They said that what the anesthesia does is it just prevents you from making short-term memories, and you can go to sleep. And so, I have snippets of memory, which is really strange. So, I remember that they wanted me to, roll off of my bed, or not roll off, but slide off of my bed onto, the operating table, I guess. And I kind of vaguely remember doing it, but I mostly remember because my gown was being pulled open as I slid over, but, I just didn't care. I was like, it's open, I don't care. And then I remember putting my feet in stirrups, and, my doctor kept patting my leg, which was nice and comforting. And I remember someone telling me to slide down, and I think I remember someone telling me to lift my head so they could put a hairnet on me. And then I think I remember, waking up as they were wheeling me back into the room, and then, the next real thing I remember is someone saying my name and saying it's time to wake up. And they told me how many eggs they got, and I think my husband said I just kept asking the same questions over and over, how long have I been gone, or, how many eggs did they get, or, the same thing over and over, but I was getting more and more clear-headed the longer I was there. Yeah, so apparently I talked to my doctor right after, don't remember any of that. He told me I wouldn't remember that, but it happened. And the nurse that was doing, the recovery at the end, apparently I talked to her already and didn't remember any of it. She even told me that she said, you're not going to remember this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And I was like, nope, don't remember a thing. And then my husband just told me too that at one point, I asked how many eggs. They said 10 eggs. And I think I was worried, oh, only 10. And she said, oh, no, that's a good number. We do this all the time. And, the doctors are going to keep calling you the next couple of days to let you know how everything's going, and you'll come back for the transfer. And I don't remember any of this, but apparently I said, no, I'm just the donor. I don't remember this. And my husband was surprised. He thought I was fully awake and aware, and I was not. But anyway, so, and then they gave me some Sprite, and I was able to leave once I felt like it, basically. I feel fine right now. I feel more like myself. I don't feel crampy or anything. When I did get off the hospital bed to change into my clothes, there was some blood under me, not a lot, but, I brought a pad with me to the hospital, so I was prepared for that, and I feel a teeny bit twingy, but nowhere near cramping level yet. So I have an appointment again in a week, and to just a checkup. And so that'll probably be my final video, is after that checkup, to talk about how I've been feeling. So I'll talk to you then. It's now been a little over a week since I had my retrieval, and I had my post-op checkup on Friday. Everything looked good, the doctor said. I'm still a little swollen, but okay. I never really had any bad symptoms or recovery. Didn't really cramp very much. A lot of things I had read online said I might be really crampy, periods, but worse. So, I sat with a heating pack for a couple days just as, preemptive, but I never really felt that I needed it, just a little twingy here and there. So, yeah, it's been a good experience. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about infertility and, what the process is for a mother to choose to use a donor egg and how difficult that can be. So, hope it was worth it for them. It was worth it for me. I'll probably do it again. If someone is interested in me, I'd probably definitely do it again. Just glad that I went through this. I hope you're able to learn something from these videos. I know when I was thinking about doing it, I was finding every video I could look for to see what the process would be like and how people felt throughout. So hopefully this provided something good for you. Yeah, so good luck on your journey if you decide to do it. Make sure you think long and hard about what all of this would mean to you and how you'll feel afterwards about having donated eggs. Personally, I don't feel any kind of attachment to these eggs, so I'm just happy for the mother that she'll have the chance to have a baby. So thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.